Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Is that on? There we go. I would like to call the Economic Development Subcommittee meeting to order for November 13th, 2024. It is 5:47. Note to residents, all citizens are welcome to attend public meetings in person. To view the live meeting remotely, citizens are encouraged to watch the live stream on Franklin Town Hall YouTube channel, TV YouTube channel, or the live broadcast on Comcast 9 and Verizon Channel 29. Meetings are also archived by Franklin TV on the Franklin Town Hall TV YouTube channel and shown on repeat on Comcast 9 and Verizon Channel 29 for those who missed the live meetings. To listen to the meeting remotely, citizens may call in using the number 1-929-205-6099. This will not permit participation in the meeting. To participate in the meeting remotely, citizens are able to join a Zoom webinar using the information provided on the meeting agenda packet that is on the town website. The Zoom web ID number is 892-0404-6168. Any participant who wishes to speak during the webinar must enter their full name and email address when joining the webinar. All participants will be automatically muted upon joining. In order to speak, participants who have entered full name and email address will need to select the raise hand function to request to be unmuted. All speakers will be required to state their full name and street address before commenting. Councilor Chandler is absent tonight, and Councilor Frangillo is online. So tonight we have a packed agenda. Let's get right to it. Housing bond bill discussion, agenda item number 1. Jamie.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, just really quickly, I just wanted to give a couple bill summaries out there for folks so you could take a look at them. This is a pretty big piece of legislation that was signed into law at the end of last year. I think both summaries do a good job. I just want to note on here, a lot of the money that was authorized is not existing money. So you'll notice there's a big section on capital authorizations. These monies aren't available yet, and the state has to borrow money in order to pay off and create these grant programs. From what we've heard on a couple of webinars, and we'll get to the next one on the next bylaw on ADUs, I think they're, and rightfully so in my opinion, they're prioritizing the public housing assistance, because I believe that by retrofitting housing authority units, that's where they're going to get the most yield of units created quickest, because a lot of those units are offline for various reasons across the state. And then a lot of the other ones, some of them, I know in 2025 there'll be much more extensive guidance from the state. I do think that some of these funds we will be able to tap into, probably pretty limited, but the Housing Authority will certainly have greater access, maybe the Municipal Affordable Housing Trust, and also a lot of these programs were developed for private homeowners. So anytime someone sees a big bond bill authorization like this of $6 billion, we get excited because we have a problem in the state and we want to address it. The bad news is that none of these monies will be available for a while, and with the state having depleting revenues coming in through Q1 already this fiscal year, it may limit the government's ability to actually borrow as much as they want for some of this. But my main goal tonight, Madam Chair, was just to put this on everybody's radar, just have some educational materials from State House News in this briefing, just so the community could get a little acclimated to it and the EDC could at least know what's out there. And obviously Brian and Amy and Gus and myself and Amy are going to monitor all of the latest from the state, and we'll continue to keep the community and the committee posted. But there is a lot of amazing stuff in here. I know there's a lot of people out there, advocates, who are upset that more didn't get in it. But, you know, I got to give the governor and the lieutenant governor and the legislature a lot of credit. They put together a pretty comprehensive bill. And I also think a lot of these appropriations are geared towards dealing with, you know, some areas that are more towards the urban core, or there's going to be carrots and sticks, I'm sure, at some point. But I know from what Secretary Augustus has said that the public housing authorities is probably one of the biggest priorities. And so they're going to get that ramped up, I think, next year. So, you know, happy to answer any quick questions, but you know, just wanted folks to have the information before we got into the ADUs. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I think it'd be great for them to, they'll tackle the public housing, because there's
Me too.
need to be updated, and everybody needs air conditioning and water that works and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Absolutely.
it's like horrible.
Yeah.
So that's good. Kobe, do you have any questions for Jamie?
No questions on that. Appreciate the flag. A lot of good stuff in there, and excited to see what funding opportunities are available to us.
Patrick?
Yeah, sounds good.
Anything?
No.
Great, thank you, Jamie. Let's move on to agenda item number 2, which is the zoning bylaw amendment, changes to section 185, chapter 185-3, definition accessory dwelling unit. I believe Amy's been working on this. So our town planner, Amy Love, will come up, and, oh, and Gus is here with us tonight too, so.
Yes. Thank you, Mel, Chairwoman Mel. I'm sorry.
No, you can call me Mel, it's okay.
So I think about a year ago, we actually did some updates to the ADU. We added the definitions in, we did the special permits under most of the zoning districts with housing and multifamily housing. So since, as Jamie just alluded, that the Affordable Homes Act came out with some new regulations that they are asking the towns to adopt. Currently, we require our ADUs by special permit through the Zoning Board of Appeals. One of the changes that the Affordable Homes Act has come out with is to allow them by right in your single-family zoning districts.
Right.
The second one is that we had in our definition, we had the owner of record shall live on the property. That's also been removed for the definition coming under the Affordable Homes Act. So those are the 2 proposed changes. We've also had a little bit more further discussion today. Originally in front of you and posted on the agenda, we had looked at allowing the residential zones 1 through 3, single family 3, and to be by right. We've also talked about adding single family 4, because it is a single family zoning district, even though it does allow up to 3 units. There's another thing that we caught today in the law that they had recommended, is that they're requiring single family by right, the first unit by right, the second unit requires special permit. So we've also noted a footnote on the attachment, the 185 attachment, that states that requirement.
Right, right. So Councilor Frangillo doesn't see this new updated version, I don't think,
No.
right? So single-family resident 4 is by right all three by rights have note 8 on it.
Yep.
And the note says a second accessory dwelling unit on the same parcel will require a special permit from the ZBA. And so, and then in all other zones, are ZBA, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, remain as is.
Yeah. Jamie, you want to add anything?
I would just say, I just want to note for the record, thank you to Brian and Amy and Gus and Mark Sorrell for doing this. I just want to note, I think the updated version is the version to bring forward, to bring onto the council. I think it's about as close as you can get to complying with the law without knowing what regulations the Executive Office of Housing and Living Communities are going to put through. They made it very clear on a webinar, I believe a couple of us might have been on it last week on the staff. They made it very clear that the agency is going to go through their regulatory process to provide regulations to cities and towns. So depending on what those regulations are, we may have to come back again and do another bylaw. But also they're months, if not longer away from developing those regulations. And I would also note that is also at the heart of the lawsuit against the town of Milton with MBTA Communities. So depending on how that court decision comes out may change the state dynamics. But they made it very, very clear to us that they are still expecting cities and towns to comply with the statute, which is reflected here,
Right.
by early February. All of that just can't get done. But Franklin can still get it done. So we still can probably come pretty close based on the schedule, and if the EDC votes this out tonight, we'll have it on the November 20th council meeting to refer to planning board.
Okay.
December will be a hearing on the planning board, and then January, February would come back to the council with their recommendations. So we actually could show the state that even one town can get it done before
Well, I mean, I'm not
February.
gonna brag, but Holliston already did it, so.
Oh, they already did it, okay. Well, they already have it by right.
No, they had to do it for their town meeting in
Oh,
October. Like
Oh, okay.
they had an even stricter deadline, but that's
Yeah.
what you have to do, right?
that's right.
Okay. No, I'm not.
Good for
I'm
that's
not
great for
bragging.
Holliston.
I'm not bragging about anything.
Well, you'll be 1 and 2.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's great. Thanks for adding that. I think it's important to make sure we have it all in the single family zones, so that's good. I don't really have any other questions. I already contacted you today and bugged you, so I have my questions answered already. Councilor Frangillo, you have any questions?
No real questions. I was wondering what, appreciate the administration for bringing this forward. I was wondering what they thought about future regulations coming. I expect, I don't know, I'd be pretty surprised if we really have to make any substantive tweaks, if any tweaks at all. I'm guessing that they're gonna be dealing with municipalities that are gonna attempt to gonna make it by right, but attempt to use a whole bunch of other strategies to not actually allow them. And I don't think our ADU bylaw follows that at all. I think it actually gives pretty straightforward direction as to how to build a legal ADU in Franklin. So I'd be surprised if we have to make any further tweaks. I think that these are positive. I think, as a occupant of an accessory dwelling unit, I strongly endorse them being available to more people. I think this is a great step that we're making it by right in these 4 zones. I personally would be in favor of making it by right in general residential 5. If that's not the fight that we want to have right now, that's okay. There aren't actually that many places in general residential 5 that would even have the setbacks and lot requirements to even get it done, which to me is a vote in favor of just allowing it in the few cases that it does. But I would defer to the, we've frustrated the planning board a few times and seemingly being too aggressive. So that's the only thing I'm trying to stay sensitive to. I think these are a no-brainer way to improve the affordability of homes in Franklin. I'd say we can put them up wherever we want. Or should be able to put them as many places as we could. But anyway, those are my thoughts.
I couldn't really hear what you were saying at the end there, but, but I think you said that you liked it, and,
Yes.
right? Yeah. I know,
Sorry, sorry, am I not projecting, or is it?
You're starting off,
You start off, like, go slower and louder.
Okay. Good policy, good changes, very excited.
Awesome.
Would be in favor of general residential 5 if
Yeah,
the group is,
We heard that.
but understand if that's not a priority for tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor Frangillo. Counselor Sheridan, you have anything to
No,
add?
it's great.
No? I think it's great too.
Yeah.
Thank you, and Gus, Amy, Gus, Brian, Mark, for doing this and getting it ready and to scramble and still see what the next regulations are gonna be. I think I think it's good. I think before it was really good. I think it's better now. It's more like what some of us wanted. So I think it's great. I think it's great. And I would take a motion to move to accept, wait, there's like multiple bylaws though, right? Right, Jamie?
It's two bylaws.
two?
Two changes.
No, it's just one bylaw. Or is there two different sections?
There's two different
definitions.
sections.
Definition.
The definition
Okay, so
and
let's
the
do the
attachment
definition
schedule.
first.
In the
I'd
use table?
accept a
Yes.
motion to approve the, chapter 185, attachment 8, regulations, accessory uses, additions.
So moved.
Okay, roll call vote. Counselor Frangillo?
Yes?
Counselor Sheridan?
Yes.
Counselor Hamlin says yes. Okay. I would accept a motion to approve the zoning bylaw changes to 185-3 definitions of the accessory dwelling unit.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Is there a sec, all right, is my motion, no, I don't like calling. Second,
Second.
roll call vote. Counselor Sheridan?
Yes.
Counselor Frangillo?
Yes.
Counselor Hamlin, yes. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Gus. Okay, let's move to the next one. All right, agenda item number 3, we're cranking along here. Zoning bylaw amendments, changes to chapter 185-20, signs. My favorite thing. Jamie?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. So, this is a small change to our bylaws relating to signs, only in commercial 2, business, and office zoning districts, which is largely regulated to the exit 17 corridor area going down by the 99 restaurant and a couple of other sections. There really aren't a lot of residential neighborhoods in those districts. And we did have a request from particularly Glenn Farmer, who was unable to make it tonight, but we're going to try to get the owner to the next meeting at the council level, of dealing with LED and LCD message board signs. So the planning staff, the building commissioner, and the town attorney drafted this to try to amend the zoning bylaws to allow the kind of signage that we're getting requests for in a lot of those areas. I actually believe most residents or most businesses would already assume that this kind of style sign would be allowed in that zoning district. And when you drive down that zoning district, it's pretty bright anyways from a lot of street lights and a lot of light pollution from those malls and stuff anyway. So this bylaw would allow businesses along the West Central Street corridor and around that area 140 down towards the BJ's area, where Glen Farmer is, 99, et cetera, to be able to have these signs. That's it. And this is obviously a recommendation to the council, who then would refer this to the planning board on the
right.
exact same schedule that I just mentioned for ADUs. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Amy, Gus, do you have any additions, anything you want us to take note of?
No, I mean, I think this, the sign bylaw has always been a topic. I know that there's also been a lot more advances in signage these days, so I
Yeah.
think this is bringing us up to a little bit more speed with signage being available.
Mm-hmm.
Just to note, there are two changes, two amendments being made to 185-20.
Right, so do you want to explain the adding of the, did you raise your hand, Mark? Mark?
That was very observant.
I saw you out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, their companion,
Okay.
the second amendment, as an exception to the general prohibition, which then refers to this substantive provision that we were just talking
Okay.
about.
Gus?
Madam Chair, if I could speak?
Of course you may.
Thank you.
Gus?
I think they're a long time in coming. They're not inexpensive by any means, and I think that we're not going to get a big run on these. I think some of the businesses that are crying out for more business are the ones that are going to ask for these and to try to increase their business. And
Yeah.
we have them in town already in certain areas. Some were taken the ZBA route, and frankly, we've never had a complaint on any of them. So I think that this is a change in with the times type of thing, and I think it'll be done so it looks good and it fits in with the Franklin type of homes and businesses we have.
Thank you. Thank you, Gus. Mark?
Yeah, and we had a discussion, and we put in special permit with just the conditions being met that are contained within here, as opposed to the whole criteria that is in the zoning, but to deal with a specific issue of immediate impact on public safety in a particular location, which, if you had it as of right, could arise. So
Okay.
some controls, if somebody were putting something where it's gonna create a distraction, then there's some ability to regulate that, relocate or whatever.
So the special permit criteria
Just the ones that are stated here.
means that it must be public safe. It must be safe for the public.
Right.
And so if somebody wanted to put a sign up, they would have to go in front of the planning board and and then have the chief or
Right.
say it's okay.
Yeah, if they come in, they say, no, it's gonna obstruct view at this location, or it's gonna create a particular distraction because it's a busy intersection, and you're putting the sign right there, and that's
Right.
those kind of specific concerns could be addressed.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair? And
Yes,
also,
Gus.
we don't allow off-premises signs, so anyone that's concerned that this may turn into a free-for-all, so to speak, even in those zones, that sign has to be on the property that it's advertised.
Right. Good. Council Frangillo, you have any questions?
It seems as though, and maybe I missed it, that this bylaw doesn't need to go in front of the design review commission. Did I hear that correctly? And if so, do we still plan on having them discuss it formally at one of their meetings?
Gus?
Sure, I'd like to answer that if I could. Design review is in this case, they are the authority that approves signs as well. They recommend colors for buildings, but signs they have authority on. Am I saying that right, Attorney Sorrell? So I believe that it would still go in front of them, if that answers your question.
Okay, so, all right, so the actual signs would still go in front of them. Is the bylaw change gonna be discussed at one of their formal meetings? As in, I have no strong opposition to this. I think they're a little tacky. Um, might change the feel, but whatever. I'd rather be having the businesses being able to support their own business in the way that they best see fit. But there's a whole bunch of people who are thinking about signs, a whole bunch more than I am, and they're on the design review commission. I'd be interested if they had opinions on.
So if I could
That's
just
proposed change.
tap into that statement you made. A former chairman of the design review committee was all in favor of electronic signs. He's no longer the chairman, and he's not on the board anymore. I won't speak for the flavor of what the design review commission feels now, but a lot of people are forward thinkers with some of these boards, and it's a sign of the times, I feel. Pardon the pun, but and that was by accident. But
Get up to date.
I don't want to speak for them. I don't know if you bring them into the discussion.
I think Jamie wants to reply too.
Through you, it could be, Councilor Frangillo raises a good question. To answer it directly, we have not engaged them on the drafting of this. We were trying to do one thing, address an immediate problem of obviously the Glenn Farmer issue, but also I think to Councilor Hamlin's point, this is a really good stepping stone toward, hopefully, a little bit more expansive of a conversation on signs, which I know is in the master plan, and I know we're talking about it. But what we will do, Councilor Frangillo, is assuming you vote to refer it to the council, you're gonna obviously refer it to the planning board. Between those steps, I don't know when the planning board hearing will be, but between those steps, we'll try to get some feedback from design review, and just see if there's any other issues that they wanna see, addressed in this. But we're happy to talk to them about it.
That's great. I'd
Happy.
feel satisfied with that timeline. Happy to move this forward now. Yeah, my only other thought, which you just addressed, was I think that there are other things within sign world that I hear about enough that I think the master plan will discuss it. But at some point, we should have a more holistic review of our sign policies.
This is hopefully one of those where we get a couple of wins in the win column to show people that these aren't the worst thing that's ever happened in the world. People have very passionate views on these issues, but I think in the cases that we're seeing, these are things that people would see are beneficial to Gus's point of those businesses who are asking for this to grow their business for different reasons, right? So hopefully we can be good stewards on this one, and hopefully this will pave the way for some additional and more holistic debate. I agree with you, Kobe, that a more omnibus discussion. We haven't had it as a community since I first got here, my first year here. It's been 9 years, 10 years now, so we really haven't as a community really looked at the whole sign bylaw, but at least this one will address some immediate issues that we have. Appreciate your support.
We started to look at it in 2017. We did one change, but.
There were different views from different people at that time, too.
Nightmares about that. Councilor Sheridan, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, could you give an example of a sign that you're talking about? Yeah. That we have now?
Up at the high school, if you notice that the sign outside with like the LED sign with like the events.
Oh.
So I think for a lot of businesses, it's a lot easier, in the high school too, to just go ahead and program whatever those latest are than putting those letters on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That could make it look like Times Square.
Well, that sign at the high school has a capability to do a whole lot more than
Yeah.
just doing pressing.
That's why right now, that's why it's like a stepping stone,
Yeah.
because I think there's not many examples in Franklin, there's only a few. And they kind of have been here for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And those were all variances to the ZBA. So this at least gives us an opportunity to see as a community, do people really not like these a lot? Do people like them? I think one thing that usually people comment on is they don't like the billboard style sign, electronic signs you see off the highway and stuff, the light pollution, but I think also neighbors don't like the additional light pollution in residential districts, so there's a lot of issues to work out on that stuff. But these areas right now, I don't even know if a sign would matter. There's so much light pollution down at 495 at the exit of 17, I don't even know if
Right.
you'd notice.
But they'd probably like to put like specials on, and then
Exactly.
that would get people's attention.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yep.
And it's a lot easier
Yeah.
to
Program.
program it
And plus
than to
it-
go change all the little numbers.
Plus, well, no, that's okay. Plus, it will catch you too. You drive by, you see it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Glenn Farmer in particular, really wants to do.
you good? Okay, all right. So, Amy and Gus, did you guys work on this one too? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Amy and Gus.
Don't be modest.
And Ryan and Mark for working on these things. I know that, we have these things that are sit around and we're like, wanna get to them. So it's great that you guys did that for us. Thank you a lot. All right, I will, let's see. I'll take a motion to move zoning bylaw amendment changes to, let's see, chapter 185-20 signs, with the addition of 185-20C. Have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Counselor Frangillo,
Yes.
Counselor Sheridan?
Yes.
Counselor Hamlin? Yes. Okay, that's one, right? All right, you wanna make a motion? He's like, oh no. All right, I would accept a motion to approve zoning bylaw changes to chapter 185-20 signs with the addition of except as provided in section 185-20C3C to the town council.
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Councilor Frangillo, roll call vote.
Yes.
Councilor Sheridan?
Yes.
Counselor Hamlin, yes. Okay. Thank you all
Thank you.
for all your hard work. It really is gonna make a difference, I think. So thank you a lot. Important stuff today. All right, let us move on to agenda item number 4, which is marketing and branding project. Design revisions and presentation and discussion with AJ Rebecki. Thanks, Amy.
I'm missing handouts.
Yeah.
Another handout you missed. It's
Oh,
a really
sorry.
good one too, Kobe.
Chris is
They
gonna
look
put the
good.
slides up on the thing, Kobe. You'll be able to see it on the screen.
I'll say
Okay,
one for
appreciate
you.
it.
Well, thank you so much for having me again tonight. Hopefully we can get through this pretty quickly, but we're gonna look at some revisions to the logo concepts that were presented 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. So to recap, a few weeks ago I presented 3 logo concepts to both the EDC and the town council. They all had different flavors and different kind of flows to it, but after the meeting and during the meeting, between members of the EDC, the town council, town employees, the general public, the first concept, this kind of badge concept, was the unanimous one that people really resonated with. So the idea here is between tonight and next week, we're going to be revising this logo to then put forward to the town council as a recommended kind of marketing logo for the future of the town of Franklin. There's 3 things that we wanted to do based on the feedback between the EDC and the town council, was to explore simplifying the logo mark itself, to explore type variations and what that does to the overall kind of feeling of the logo, and explore what co-branding and color looks like. Co-branding means what does it look like with the cleaned up town seal, which we need to repeat again is not going away, so making sure that what that looks like with the seal itself. So in the top left-hand corner is the original one that I presented, and then I kind of worked through variations, this kind of matrix on the right of what this might look like and feel like with a few tweaks and changes. as you go down, they get a little bit more complex in what areas are filled in, dark versus light, negative versus positive space. And through this, in meeting with the design committee, the marketing and branding committee, we really still resonated with that top row. And a thing that I realized after sending it to my network of designers and creatives is that when you started to fill in the logos, as you see in the second and third row, kind of looks like tiki masks, which we don't want. And now that someone said it to me, I couldn't get it out of my head. So after kind of logo play and talking with Amy and Mel and Corey, we really decided that this A1 in the top left-hand corner, it hits the mark, right? It balances all the things that we talked about in terms of green spaces, growth, education, community, institutional foundation, and it has that kind of balance that we're looking for. And although it's not a real departure from the original that was presented, the removal of those two small, tiny leaves in the middle really gave it the kind of space it needed to make sure that all the elements shined in the logo itself. So from here, what I want to look like is what happens if we keep the thicker stroke around the shield, and what happens if we keep a similar weighted stroke around the entire shield, and what does that look like, and how does it impact the overall feel of the logo? So on the top, you can see as it is on a positive to negative, and then on the bottom, you can see what it looks like in a knockout shape to make sure that no matter how we're using it, knockout versus full, does it still work? And then what I wanted to do, I think Councilman Frangillo had this comment of what does it look like if we took the type that we used in Concept 2 originally and applied it to the shield logo. And I think this is a perfect example of what type can do to a logo concept, right? On the left-hand side, it has that bolder feel. It's a little bit more masculine. It's a little bit kind of edgier. But on the right, when you bring in kind of that sans serif, or that serif of, and that more gentle typeface, it creates that heritage legacy kind of feel that we've been talking about for a while for a town that's been around for, as long as Franklin has. I wanted to kind of explore too what happens with the different logo and lockup variations. How does it look like stacked? How does it look like horizontal? How does it look like without the shield, right? Like what are the different variations that occur when you're using this in different instances? Another piece of feedback that we had from the first concept originally was there was a kind of responsive leaf F that formed when the logo got really small, whether that's like for a Facebook or Instagram avatar or for digital applications that are really small. So what I try to do now is explore what does that logo look like when it's kind of in a very small instance, whether that's, like I said, the Instagram profile. So on the left-hand side, it forms down to almost like this collegiate style F, this bold F. And on the right-hand side, the shield goes down to this kind of window pane shield shape that I think works really well, and again, ties back into that, institutional foundation, the architecture that we see in the library and in the high school. Wanted to see what type looks like when we explore what this might look like on a town memo or on a sign that's hanging outside the council chambers. So making sure that in both cases it's legible, it is timeless, it is clean, and can be well read from various distances. Legibility, again, is really important. So as we move down in sizes, does the logo still maintain its integrity and its shape? Because it will not always be on the side of a building. It will be small, like in the corner of a letterhead. So making sure that it still maintains its shape and integrity, no matter what the size. I've also cleaned up the town seal. I've removed things that didn't need to be there. So in the middle of this kind of upper area right here shows what the current town seal is. There's extra strokes, there's different weights across the board. So in both instances, I just wanted to make sure that it was clean. It kept to the original feel of what the current seal is, but from a hierarchy standpoint, a legibility standpoint, it's cleaned up. I also made some variations too, just to see what it looks like if we kind of made Ben a little simpler. I even gave one with glasses on it just to see what it would look like, to give it a little bit more Ben Franklin feel. And then again, seeing how these would look like when they're next to each other to make sure that they still stood up and they weren't conflicting in any ways. Last but not least, I wanted to explore what color looks like. I think the overall feedback we got is that the blue and the green work really well together. So I wanted to explore some options of what that looks like. So I have 4 different color options that I prepared, just changes, from lighter greens to forest greens and darker navies, to more vibrant greens and to more muted palettes, to just understand what this kind of looks like and how we can approach it from a color standpoint, to make sure that it does no harm, that it's super approachable, and it can be used either way. Blue with green, green with blue, and then again on knockout to make sure that everything was still legible and you could still read it. That's my presentation.
Corey's clapping in the background. Amy, do you have anything that you would like to add? Because Amy's been taking charge in this project, so.
No, I was gonna give a brief introduction, and I think AJ covered everything
Oh,
that
sorry.
I wanted to
Oh, that's
say.
right,
No,
actually.
it was fine. I just wanted to,
Oh my God.
talk about that we weren't getting
Sorry.
rid of the seal, and that, we really what we're hoping to do today is get some feedback from the EDC, so AJ can go back this week and refine, do another round of revisions, and then hopefully next week, we can really have a final design to give to, or shortly thereafter, to give to the council at their December meeting. So, really, it's on the EDC to share some feedback, ask AJ questions, kind of go through what he did over the last few weeks, and, that way he can come back next week with some additional revisions for us.
Do you want to remind people that the funds
Sure,
from this
sure,
came
yeah.
from?
The town branding project is being funded through a state grant. It's an economic development earmark, and we can't use the money for anything else other than this project. So, just like to remind everyone of that.
And we're
as well.
doing this for efficiency.
That's right.
And also, to be recognized, I think, when you look like you have your stuff together, you attract really good businesses too. So, that's really important. Councilor Sheridan, do you have anything you'd like to ask AJ?
Oh, I just feel bad, last time you did all this work and some of our colleagues thought they were shocked,
Yeah,
like that we even.
that's okay. That's okay. I want you to look at these though, and ask, and what are your first thoughts when you think about which one you would pick?
Man, I love all of them. I mean, they're all great. The only one that I wasn't bad either was that one that I said, who might ask.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
but,
These ones
so
are
just
all
so
great.
everybody, I know they're all great,
Yeah.
but, all right, so we go to one page that AJ has up here,
Yeah,
right? And we have to look at that, and we have to think, okay, let's start here, right?
I think,
We have the thicker, bolder one, or we have the lighter, more historic.
I
Maybe, is that what you say, AJ?
Yeah, heritage.
Heritage,
I
the
like-
heritage look.
the heritage one, more,
Okay,
Right.
do you know why you like it more?
because I'm a history person, I think. No, I think that's
Okay.
it, probably, yeah.
All right,
And it's, less pushy. The other one seems kind of, the bold one seems kind of really.
is it too bold
Yeah,
for you?
yeah, a little bit. Then if you had to pick one, yeah.
Council Frangillo, do you have any questions or comments about this first section here?
Just the first section. Yeah, I Appreciate all of this, appreciate the responsiveness. I think removing those, two leaves did clean it up in a way that I enjoy. In isolation, I prefer, the bold. I think it looks sharp. I fear that, that it might not age as well. I don't know. It's that and the fonts, they feel a little, I don't know, sexier or like a modern sports team, more than, sort of a lost in time, town, which has its benefits, for the short term, but I worry about longevity. I really appreciated the heritage as it kept going in terms of how it paired off, particularly how it paired off with, the updated seal, which I thought looked great. Yeah, I have thoughts on other pieces, but if we're just talking about weight, I would say I appreciate you hearing me out and on the heritage and giving us some options to look at, because I think, I think it sort of tones that one down in a way that might find more appeal both across the current population and across time.
Okay, thank you. Hey, did you have any comments back?
No, I mean, that was kind of the line when we had our meeting the other day, is that while the left is a little bit bolder and a little bit more in your face, it does bring in some of this kind of almost athletic, sports, collegiate feeling to it, which might, it might create a little bit of friction when you think of like the Panther logo and things like that. I think the right to everyone's feedback, it is a little bit more timeless, classic. It stands on its own, and I think when you think of the breadth of the do no harm approach, it is neither feminine nor masculine. It is not overbearing. It is very straightforward and aligns with, I think, a lot of different people's kind of perspectives of what the town is in their stylistic approach.
Corey, do you have anything to add? No? Corey's in the, Amy?
No.
Okay, so I agree. I like that one. I like the right side. What do we call it? Option B. The best, I will say. Okay, so what else do we need to give you information about? I think Kobe said he had a lot of other things he wanted to talk about. One of the things.
A lot is true.
One of the other things I think about when I look at option B, when it goes down to the smaller thing, I like the library window look, but I'm not sure I like the little shield there, but I let everybody else chime in too. Kobe.
Oh, the library window?
Yeah, like this one?
Yeah, that's the library window. I didn't know that's nice, yeah.
Yeah, you like that?
I do.
I didn't know if it got really small, like what it would look like.
Yeah.
Really super small, if we would lose the
The look, like just too small.
the window mullions.
Yeah.
I think a variation, so we talk about, the next stage of revisions. I
Yeah.
think there's probably a world where we take that F in the shield shape on the left-hand side
Yeah.
and bring it over to the option B to see what it would look like. A few different smaller avatar options, just to make sure that we're aligned on what that could look like when it's super, super, super small.
Right. Because I do like that F with the 1 in it, I gotta say. But
Yeah.
but I'm happy. I'm really happy with all of it. So
Yeah, the F on the one is catchy.
you like that?
Yeah.
All right, Kobe, do you have it? You said you had other things that you wanted to say.
No, yeah, this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about, the smallest form of each of them. I was going to say a lot of what you said, except for the word mullions.
Sorry.
I really appreciated the F, the bringing it down to the F. I actually strongly dislike the 1F, just not from a design standpoint, just from what we're doing. That feels too, I don't know, casual, if you will, or winky. I don't know.
Can't hear you.
I didn't need
I don't know,
that.
you're
but
mumbling,
I
you're
really
mumbling.
like.
Yeah.
We can't hear you again, so.
Oh, okay, okay,
The
okay.
one
All
F,
right.
which one F?
This
The F with the one,
Okay, all right.
don't like.
You don't like it, okay.
Fine design, doesn't work for a town in the way that we would want to use it in my mind.
Okay.
I do really like the bold F. I recognize that part of that is because the bolder rim, which we're now likely moving away from, works really well with that F. I'd be interested in seeing, yeah, my biggest ask for you coming out of this would be, can you present an F in that format, just with the thinner version, because I think the distillation down to a shield and an F is a strong start. I enjoy the window one, but I think it gives us less, and so in the few places where we are going to use that, I would prefer an F, because the other one doesn't immediately call to the larger logo in a way that it would be nice if it could. Yeah.
AJ's shaking his head,
Yeah,
yes, and
yeah.
he's giving you the thumbs up.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Totally
think we
agree.
all agree on that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And when I look at the seal and the logo together, definitely option B, I think it looks really great together with the
thought-
cleaned up seal.
I thought we'd get rid of this.
Patrick, don't even joke,
You want to take a look at?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that looks great together.
Yeah, you too.
I think, I like it better than the darker one, you know, the bolder one, so I think it really matches well.
I like that
Oops.
idea of replacing the window with the, like a different type of F, so.
Yeah. And,
I have
yeah,
another,
well, Kobe's, no,
I just had another thought too. I know that we,
Amy.
at the last presentation too, a lot of people liked the year that Franklin, was established, the 1778. So maybe something like the window design with the 1778 would be a neat
I like that too.
logo, the smaller logo, or try it with the F as well.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that was, you had put that on a clothing brand or something, and people really
Yeah.
responded to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe some variation of that as well might be good to look at.
I think that's a really good piece of feedback. Yeah, so for the final revision, for the final presentation, there will be one page that basically shows all of the mock-ups that are possible, right? So the full suite of all of the things that are in the toolkit that people can use and play with. So I will definitely go back to that idea of 1778 and figure out if I could possibly fit that into the smaller shield shape or just back to the larger shield shape in general. I think that's a good piece of feedback.
Kobe just gave you the thumbs up. I don't know if you saw him, but,
I'm giving him thumbs up.
oh, he's giving,
Everyone's
giving
giving
two-
thumbs up.
Kobe, you're getting 2 thumbs up from AJ. Okay?
I think the only other big, and this is,
Is the
color,
color-
color is one of those things where it's
Did
very
you look at the colors
subjective.
from the website, the new
Can we-
website design? Oh, sorry,
Before we
Kobe?
get to colors, can we
Yeah,
just on the seal? I thought we were,
Yeah.
seal. So, okay, if I may, Chair,
go ahead, yeah, you got the floor.
I'm limited, and I apologize for not being there in person. The quality of stream makes it very difficult for me to differentiate these, so I'm just struggling to parse them apart. I was interested in seeing what a slightly simpler face looked like, and which seems like you're giving me one of those. It's just too blurry for my, I don't know if there's a quick way to send it, or if you guys had thoughts. I don't need it, it's not a big thing, but I was intrigued as to whether we could simplify it just a little more, and I think the main way to do that would be just the amount of like waviness of his face.
AJ?
Yeah, there's, I know you're not, there is a packet for you, but we'll email this out afterwards so you can see it in high res. There is a variation where I did take lines out of Ben's face, which is gonna be this one and this one over here. Here is my major concern after, as Councilman Sheridan said at the beginning of the meeting, there is a protection over the way the seal looks now, and this is pixel by pixel a representation, almost carbon copy of the way it is now. We can strip it down even further, but I just have a fear that if we go too far from the way that it currently looks, there's just gonna be a lot of pushback.
Cool. Look forward to the email, and my response will be quick.
Perfect.
Anything else, Kobe?
Not ready to discuss color.
Okay. All right, colors.
Color stuff.
Okay.
So I mean, it's clearly on the screen here. I mean, it's on the
Yeah.
projector here. As you can see, the TVs in here versus the way they're represented on the projector are a little different versus the way that they are in the printout.
Right.
It's just a matter of, in my opinion, muted versus unmuted. Like, so how vibrant are the colors we're trying to produce are? And then the other thing is, you know, from a spectrum of, you know, royal blue to deep navy, what does that look like? And then from a green perspective, from, you know, light green to, you know, a dark forest green, what does that spectrum kind of look like is what it comes down to.
Thoughts? Pat?
No,
No?
yeah.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
The blue color now that we have, what's the color for Franklin now? It's more on the bottom corner, right? Right corner?
I don't know, maybe AJ knows.
It's
Like
the
the Franklin
blue
high
that we-
colors.
Yeah, it's gonna be closer to this top. It's basically in between A and D. It's probably closer to this one than it is this one. It's a little bit. It's probably in between. But this is a tad bit muted, and it's more of like a vibrant blue. So it's probably closer to this one right here.
Kobe, anything? I don't know, can you
Yeah,
see the colors there?
I can, yeah, I wonder, you know, I'm sure that it looks different on different lightings, but from what I'm seeing, I mean, strong dislike, well, strong is,
The
as strong
lime
as you need it
green.
to be, as strong as you need it to be, to say, yeah. I think it shouldn't be as bright as the lime green. You know, I don't, my preference is still for A. I think that gets closest. I have some thought about like, well, is the town of Franklin historically a slightly deeper blue? I don't think we need to match the full, you know, high school colors at all, but that would be my only thought. But I liked A and D the best on first click through. I can be persuaded in a few directions, just not C.
I think, well, we were, oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say something else? No? I think when the committee got together, Corey was picking colors from different groups, so. But, I mean, I agree, I'm not really enamored with the limeish green, but, any of the other three are okay with me. I think they work together well, and they look good on the screen, and they're easy on my eyes, and I like them. I kind of like D the best right now, but I'm not sure I liked that the best last time. So it's like one of those things, right, where it depends on what screen we're looking at, where the projection is coming from, and also just like since the redo of the website, we had talked about looking at the website colors to make sure that they matched whatever was on that Did we do that yet? Did we get a response?
No, so I'll coordinate with AJ on that, and
Okay.
we'll circle back around with the
Okay.
committee.
Yeah, all four variations, there's two things that we wanted to do, or I wanted to do, is A, from an ADA compliance and a WebAIM compliance standpoint, do both of those colors can you put white on it and then flip them around and they're still ADA compliant, which all of them are.
Okay.
And the second thing too, is how easy is it on the eyes, right? Is there no strain? Is it easy to comprehend? And I think the lime green might take it a little bit off course, but I think overall, holistically, all four of them kind of give you an idea of where we can go. Colors, another thing too is these options were chosen that they can replicate on paper the same way that they do on screen. So no matter where you're seeing the logo and what color it is in, you'll get the same experience from the town of Franklin across the board.
Great. Great. Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Frangillo, any other?
I guess the overall would just be, at the end of all of this, the problem with a group project is, if we each take a little of everyone's ideas, sometimes the total can look worse. So I would just want to make sure that we're empowering you to, with the most trained design eye, to still be putting forward a product that you're proud of.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate that too. And if there was ever so far the feedback that I've gotten, especially in this meeting, it's all valid and very constructive feedback, and there's action items that occur from it. So like I can take that, I can go back and I can zhuzh and be able to, take this to the next step. But yeah, I really appreciate the feedback, the conversation. Super valuable.
Thank you, Kobe. I really agree that, we don't let our pedestrian ideas get in the way of brilliance, okay? Right? So do I think AJ has what he needs to
Sure,
continue,
and
AJ is?
And my suggestion would be, I can send out the presentation that AJ shared with us tonight. I would say if people could just look at it within the next, 24 hours and send some feedback, by maybe midday Friday. That way, if there's any other comments, AJ can take those away and
Okay.
have enough time to do some edits and come back to us next week.
Right, and it would be great for Councilor Chandler to get a chance to look at it as well.
Exactly.
And I'll let him know that he should look out for that.
Yeah, so at this point, we're gonna be moving forward with the option B, like this heritage option. We'll wait for the rest of the feedback, and then everything, like I said, received tonight is very actionable. I really appreciate it, and we should be able to keep this thing moving.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ, Corey, and Amy, for all your hard work on this project.
Thank
And with that, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Yes.
Roll call vote. Councilor Sheridan?
Yes.
Councilor Frangillo?
Yes.
Councilor Hamlin, yes. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.